So, good evening, everyone. It's nice to see all of you. Now, it's time to ask your questions if you brought any. So, until the question arises, you simply stay with your breathing and see what comes up. Yes.
How do you let go of your expectations for your meditation? Like if you go through a period where you're feeling, super peaceful, it's great, and then you hit a period where it's difficult. How do you let go of expectations for the meditation?
So the question is how to let go of expectations concerning the meditation practice. So I'd probably reflect on the fact that everything is quite uncertain. Like it isn't sure what is going to happen, what is coming into your consciousness. Anything comes into consciousness. As you meditate, you become aware of this, of that. And I think it is most important just to notice what there is, rather than to wait for something that you think should be there. Because, to be honest, we don't even know really what's good for us. We might have the idea that such and such a feeling is good. So we wait for that feeling. It might not be at all what you need, though. Maybe you need something completely different. Maybe you need exactly what shows itself while you sit there. So maybe you can ask yourself the question, what could I learn from this experience? And always in the context of, is there suffering? Or is there release? Are you at ease with what is? No matter what that is. So the goal is principally to find a state that is at ease with whatever is. That is easier said than done. Because very often we define also our meditation practice. We think, for example, some practices are good and some are bad. Very spontaneous for most people, this feeling. They usually say that the meditation practice was very good when they had good feelings. Like it felt nice. Then we would say, yeah, that was a good meditation practice. And then when you feel really crappy, and you have all these negative sensations coming up during practice, you say, oh, that was pretty bad. A bad session today. Couldn't concentrate at all. But really your mind is kind of like asking you questions with each session. It's like, how could you release that? How could you let that go? Where is your holding? What are you holding on to? And where is the conflict in your practice? Are you able to adapt? Let's say there's negative sensations, negative feelings. If not feeling good at all, the mind is not concentrated, it's not together at all. And then conflict arises with that, right? You're having this conflict with it. You think, okay, how do I bend it so that it becomes the way it should be? Namely, feeling nice. So that's the challenge, right? Here's where you get to know yourself. Like, to what extent are you able to deal with challenges that come your way? If you're able to work with difficult meditations, and you're able to transform the state while you're practicing, you're obviously quite skillful. If you're unable to do that, then it feels much more like, oh, I'm a victim of my meditation practice, right? It doesn't at all feel like that you're doing that. So when you sit down there and you sit there for 30 minutes, you're doing stuff, a lot of stuff. Some people have the impression, no, it's just being. Not at all. Far from it. We're always doing something, constantly. Like a state of pure being is very, very difficult to reach. And there might be this very subtle things that are going on within you. The way you receive your current experience, your feeling, for example. What's your relationship to it? And how does that relationship make you suffer? Could you change it? Could you have a different relationship to your feelings? Maybe that's the question that your meditation practice asks of you. Like, how does the relationship with your experiences contribute to your suffering? Could that be different? The reason why I'm saying these things or making these suggestions, your question is, how do you drop expectations concerning the meditation practice? By understanding that, they naturally drop, because everything that comes your way is an opportunity. And it asks certain questions of you. That's the good times of life, that's the bad times of life. And if you're able to transform like a poisonous activity in the mind into a beautiful one, it simply shows that you're quite far on the path. You can see here how do you call the bird with this feathers again? Peacock, thanks. Peacock, there you go. So this is a symbol for transformation. Like in Asian cultures, for example, they say that the peacock's feathers are that shiny and that nice looking because of the poison that the bird ingests all the time. So they eat very poisonous animals and very poisonous plants. So it's, for example, Himalayan wolfsbane or something. There's a very poisonous plant. They eat that. And so they say the beauty of the feathers comes from the various poisons that they eat. So it's become this symbol for transformation. If you can take it that way, like everything is nice, it's an opportunity. If you suffer from insomnia, for example, very often the insomnia problem is solved by a simple suggestion that I make to people who have that. And it is, oh great, so every time you wake up during the night you have time to practice meditation. There's no excuse. And the meditation will allow you to relax deeply, so you're not even like tired the next day. You'll be fine. So because you're welcoming the difficulties, you're not saying, oh, I should be sleeping, and then you spend like half an hour, or even several hours telling yourself, I should be sleeping, I should be sleeping, I should be sleeping. How do I get back to sleep? Instead, you welcome it. So, oh nice, I'm awake. Great, there must be some reason for it, there must be some cause for my wakefulness. Maybe it's an imbalance in the body or an imbalance in the mind. Regardless what it is, I'm just going to practice being with my breath. Solves the problem for a lot of insomniacs. Because insomnia really is trying to sleep. That's how I define it. So sleep is the most natural thing, right?
Years ago.
Oh, right, yeah.
I think I remember you gave me that advice.
Yeah.
And then I remember waking up and saying, like, I'm awake.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't judge it as bad. And I didn't say, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I need to get to sleep.
There you go,
I
yeah.
said, I'm awake.
Yes.
That's it.
And so you have time to do something that is good for you. For example, you could go through all the blessings that you have in your life, all the good things that happen to you. Think about them. I'm healthy, I'm doing well, I have a good relationship. There's many things that I'm grateful for. You could go and just really train your ability to rest and concentrate on the breath. It's perfect, it's quiet at night. Why not just meditate a little bit? So it's about welcoming the various things that come your way, no matter how these things look like. That does it for me, like dropping expectations. Or a simple sentence, like, let's see what happens. Before you start your meditation practice, you ask, okay, let's see what happens. Because every practice is totally different. The wish to make every practice the same, it's completely against nature. Your practices are not supposed to be the same. Otherwise they would be the same. So trying to make them the same would actually make you stuck at a level that could be better. Like, let's say you have this wonderful experience one day, beautiful feeling, you see light, and it's all very, very nice. And then afterwards you say, okay, I would like to have that feeling back with every session. But that would also mean that you could not evolve anymore. You'd be stuck with the same feeling every single time. It wouldn't be good for you, right? You couldn't go deeper. So if you ask for that, you say meditation practice is only good if it feels like this, you're stuck. You're stuck in the past. Your evolution stops there. So that's why in the beginning we take always some time to go through these 3 preparations. The third preparation is when I say smile with your lips and your eyes, receive yourself with kindness. It is a preparation where you set up your attitude and your intention. The attitude is that of building a skill. Your meditation is like a piece of art that you're continuously working on, making it better, refining it. You're building a skill. It's not just be. You're building skills. But at the other side, it is kindness. That which supports the building a skill is your direction that you take. Namely, may I be truly happy, may I be truly at ease, may I be free from suffering. Now when you have that intention in the beginning, then whenever suffering comes your way, you've got to be kind enough to practice letting it go, because it's harmful. And then of course the belief or a skillful thought that you can use is, well, whatever happens, it is for my best. So you're open for everything. You're then becoming somebody that is easily taught. You're able to receive teachings out of everything. So these are a few things that you could reflect like that. And a very direct way is just let go of your expectations. You realize what you're doing and you let it go. Okay, how do you do that? Oh, there's expectation in my mind right now. Expectation is like this. It arises and it passes. Not my business. It's just some old pattern that plays itself out. You leave it be. Not interested in trying to change it. Just let it pass through you. Kind of like that. Okay? So that's all that comes to mind for that topic. Is there any other questions? Let it out.
I want to ask you a point.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recommend to do meditation practice more or not by ourselves, or in the group, or as a prayer?
Mm-hmm.
So, is this affect any?
Mm. Okay, so the question is whether we should do more meditation practice in the group, or if it's better alone by yourself. Both is nice. When you do meditation practice in a group like this, it's like everyone focusing on the same thing. That builds a certain energy in the room and helps a lot of people to feel much more centered and focused. Like when you're alone by yourself, all too often you just follow your preferences. You want to stop, you stop. If you're with a group, you have to sit until the group is done, kind of. That's good. So you're a bit more challenged through it. But at the same time, also through the common energy that builds in the room, you're also supported. So that's the benefit of meditating in a group. The benefit of meditating alone is to build confidence in your skills and your abilities. It kind of makes you work harder to get to where you want to be. It requires more discipline. It requires more honesty very often with yourself. And so it's beneficial in these scenarios. But both is good. Yeah. Yes, sure.
Normally, sometimes we do some chanting as well. We do this way.
Yeah.
Between chanting and sit meditating, what is the difference?
The difference is movement. When you chant, the mind moves with the chanting. The more simple the chant, the less the mind moves. The more complicated the chant, the more the mind vibrates with the chanting. Everybody who does like mantric meditation or chants or something like this, even on a very simple level, there's a common practice in Thailand when people sit down and chant Butto, Butto, breathing in, breathing out. At some point you have to let go of the word because it becomes a disturbance. The mind inclines to be very peaceful at one state, and it's really nice. And every time you say the word Butto, it's like a big disturbance. It feels like uncomfortable. But to get to that state, it's very good for people who think a lot. Because then you have to focus on the chanting or the mantra. So your 10,000 thoughts become one. So for some people it's good, particularly if you think a lot, you have a lot of words in your head, then that kind of puts some order into it initially, so the mind can settle down. Yeah, it's a good thing about chanting. But you have to let it go quite soon on the path if you want to get any further. Okay, anything else? No? Then I think it's good enough for this time. And I wish all of you a wonderful weekend. Enjoy yourselves, practice hard, relax hard. And thank you very much for coming.